In this section, we will be looking at solving for missing quantities in percent problems. There are two main methods for solving missing quantities in percent problems. One focuses on translating the English sentence to a math equation. For example, if we have what is 25% of 50, what translates to your variable, is translates to equals, 25% translates to the decimal 0.25, and of, different color, of translates to multiplication. So we have this equation, x equals 0.25 times 50, and do the math. Okay, so another example, 5 is what percent of 20? 5 equals x percent times 20. So if we have that, x, or 5 equals 20 times x. Remember that x is a percent. When we solve this, we divide by 20. X is the decimal 0.25. Then we have to multiply it by 100 to convert it to a percent. So when your percent is missing, make sure you take your answer and multiply it by 100. Next example, 15% of what is 45? 15% is the decimal 0.15. Of translates to multiplication. What is x equals 45? So 0.15 x equals 45. To solve, divide by 0.15. X equals 300. Okay, so that's the translation method. If you like that and you're fine with that, great. You don't even have to keep listening. If you want to see a different way, the author created what is known as the box method. Okay, he describes this on pages 168 to 170, and we'll look at how it works. There we go. All right, so in the box method, you basically draw a box. In the top left is A, and then going around counterclockwise, you have B, C, and D. Okay. Percent, as the symbol or the word, is substituted by 100. What is substituted with your variable? And you basically start at A and you just fill in the blanks. Whatever you see first goes in A, and then B, C, D, and then you use cross multiplication. So basically the author said, okay, you've got two fractions here. So what is 25% of 50 would be, what is A, 25 is B, percent is 100 is C, and 50 is D. Then you would do 100 times x and 25 times 50. 100x equals 1,250. Divide by 100. x equals 12.5. That's the box method. Let's look at number 2. 5 is what percent of 20? A is 5. B is x. 5 is what percent is C is 100. 20 is D. When you cross multiply, you have 5 times 100 equals 20 times x. Divide both sides by 20. X equals 25, and then make sure when you have a percent, you label it with the symbol. Write that over. Make sure to label the 25 as 25%. One of the nice things about the box method is that you don't have to worry about multiplying that by 100 as you do in the translation. Okay, the last example, 15% of what is 45? If I use the box method, I have 15, percent is 100, what is x, and my number 45. When I cross multiply, I have 15x equals 4,500. Divide both sides by 15. X equals 300. Okay. There is another method called the is over of equals percent over 100. And if you're familiar with that, you can use that also. I'm actually going to slide this over and we'll do these same problems using is over of. And I show it because a lot of people are familiar with it, but they're like, I just can't remember how to do it. So let me erase this from here. Actually, what I'll do is I will erase the box method, because if you want to see it, you can just back up the tape. If I can get my page centered. All right. So I will erase this. Okay. There we go. Is over of equals percent over 100. The number with is goes on top. The number with of goes on the bottom. The number with percent is the other numerator, and 100 is always the denominator. So if I just start with fraction equals fraction, I start with 100 on the bottom. What is 25% of 50? Well, percent's the easiest one to start with because it has the percent symbol or the word percent. So 25 goes here. Of 50, 50 goes here. And what is, x goes in the is part. And we cross multiply and divide, which is what we studied in the last section. 100x equals 25 times 50. Divide by 100. We're going to get the same answer. I mean, we have to. It's just another method of how to get there. For number 2, 100 bottom right. Now when I look for percent, it says what percent? So that's my blank. The percent number always goes above the 100. 5 is, so is 5 goes on top. Of 20 goes on the bottom. Cross multiply. 5 times 100 equals 20 times x. Divide both sides by 20. X equals 25. Now it's a percent, so I have to make sure to write 25%. This also has the advantage over the translation where you don't have to remember to multiply the number by 100 when you're looking for percent. And the last one, percent is always above 100, so 15%, 15 goes here. I should do that in a different color. It's not letting me, there we go. 15 over 100 of what? So of what is on the bottom, so x is on the bottom, is 45, is on the top. Cross multiply, 4,500 equals 15x. Divide both sides by 15. X is 300. Okay, and I don't care whether you use translation, the box method, or is over of method. You'll probably find one that you like better than the others. So number 4, 50 is 40% of what? The equation would be 50 equals 40% is a decimal, 0.40 times x. If I use the box method, it would be 50, 40, 100, x, which would give me 5,000 equals 40x. And if I do the is over of method, it would be 50 is, so 50 is on top, 40%, 40 goes over 100, of what? X goes on the bottom. When I cross multiply, I get 5,000 equals 40x. No matter which way you do it, I believe the answer is 125. Yep. Okay, so you get to choose which method you want to use. Okay, the next section, just practicing to make sure you know how to use your calculator. The first problem, 0.065 times 742 is 48.23. Number 2, 1,540 divided by 0.085 is, I'm going to do this in a different color, and I'm going to round this to the nearest tenth, 18,117.64. So 18,117.6. And then the last one, 542 divided by 0.035, 15,485.71. So it would be 0.7. All right, critical thinking and logical reasoning. Okay, so you're given a problem and a translation, and it's wrong. You're supposed to explain what is wrong. So in this problem, they are using the translation instead of the box method or the is over of method, the proportion method. So the problem says 397.8 is what percent of 612? And they translated it as 397.8 times X percent equals 612. Okay. The multiplication is there. Of is multiplication. So it should be X percent times 612 equals 397.8. The multiplication should be with X percent times 612, not 397.8 times X percent. Next example. 54% of what number is 385.56? 54%. It's not letting me change colors. Of what number is 385.56? So they have 385.56 times X equals 0.54. They changed the percent correctly, but of should be between X and 0.54. Multiplication should be with X times 0.54, not 385.56 times X. Okay, number 3, what number is 77% of 512? So it should be what number, so X equals 0.77 times 512. Not 0.77 times X equals 512. Okay, in the next section, it says explain how you would solve. So I'm just going to mix these up. I'll do some with translation, some with box method, and some with is over of. 72% of what number is 90 translates to the equation 0.72x equals 90. Solve for x by dividing both sides by 0.72. %4 of 614 is what number? Using the box method, we get 54 100 614, and x. Which is 54 times 614 equals 100x. Solve by dividing the product 54 times 614 by 100. Page 5. Okay, we're still explaining. I did not do is over of, so I'll do set up the proportion is over of equals percent over 100 as, see 100 is always on the bottom, don't know what's going on with the Windows or the whiteboard app. Okay. Okay, what percent, so since percent is over 100, I have x over 100, of 725, so 725 is the of number, which is on the bottom, is 377, goes on the top, cross multiply, actually I'll just write multiply 377 times 100, then divide by 725. Label the answer with percent. All right, so the rest of this unit, we're just working on problems. And I'll mix it up again. I'll use the different methods. Solve for the missing quantity. 34% of what number is 25.55? 25.5. If I do translation, that would be 0.34 times x equals 25.5. And to solve, I would divide both sides by 0.34. All right, I'm going to close out of white. Well, I don't know if I close out the recording stops. think it changed. There we go. Divide both sides by 0.34. X equals 75. I don't put percent because I wasn't looking for percent. Second one, I will use the box method. What number is 72% of 530? So what number is X? 72% is 100 and 530. So that will translate to the equation, or to the equation. Okay, I'll just say purple then. 100x equals 530 times 72, which is 38,160. Now it changes color. Divide both sides by 100. X equals 381.6. Next example, I will use is over of. So what percent, so I've got X over 100, of 720 is the bottom number, is 561.6 is the top number. Okay, I'll just use the same color. 720 times X is equal to 56,160. Divide both sides by 720, and X equals 78. And since I'm looking for percent, I have to put percent in my answer. Next page. Oh, too far. Okay, I am going to stop this so I can close whiteboard and then come back in. We will finish this in the next video.